Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be explaining the setup that I had made for my Zone 25 run, because my run was about as easy as possible. I basically used 2 revives on my way to the Zone 25 boss, and then because I just forgot to read Zone 25 boss's abilities, I needed to use 4 or 5 in the end, but all of them were the free revives from the store, and they definitely could have been avoided because I had honestly become too relaxed, because all the way through the entire Zone 25 run, most of my fights were about 15 to 25 seconds. And honestly, it was like the easiest Zone 25 run that I had done pretty much ever. And that is due to the fact that you get the permanent hacks, you can set up the way you want. And I had set it up in a way where, well, I'm going to show it to you guys first, and then I'm going to explain what's happening. The main principle behind my setup was infinite stun. And I started pretty much every match by eating about 2 combos to the face, then hitting opponent with a single combo, dropping a level 2, and then they are stunned. And past that point, I could infinitely stun lock anybody pretty much. Obviously, if I couldn't stun lock somebody, I could still play regularly, don't get hit in the face, and so on and so forth. I still carried Thing with me. It's kind of like a safety protection. But honestly, because this was Zone 23 fight, by the way. And up until Zone 23, pretty much everything died with a level 2, or level 2 in a combo. And even till the end, it worked out. So it was just the easiest, the most straightforward run. And we're going to have this Punisher 2099. Now, here's this combat deja vu disintegration. Can kind of mess me up a bit. But again, just pure sheer amount of damage that I can output kind of takes care of this fight. We're going to start again exactly the same, or more or less exactly the same. I'm going to take some hits on purpose, and then I'm just going to go for level 2. And as soon as I do throw my level 2, we can see that he's already 1/3 down. Now, combat deja vu disintegration there is playing a bit of a role, but I still have a striker, I still have a level 1, and that fight's more than finished and done. And I believe this next fight is going to showcase the best power of this setup, because we're going to have combat deja vu weakness that is going to significantly hamper my damage output. So I'm going to have like 5 weaknesses on me at almost all points. Additionally, there is selective time stream, and I do not have access to Incinerate, and I do not have access to Shock, which means I need to do the entire health pool of Heimdall in one go. And that was a lot of health. And I'm going to need to do it despite all of those weakness debuffs on me. But that's okay, because we can make it, as we can see here. Check this out. We are going. And here he goes back to full health. That's fine. We're dropping level 2 again. As I said, I have 4 weaknesses on me here. 5 weaknesses. 4, 5. Still, that's fine, because I also had the perpetual offense that does increase my damage output. The main point here is to showcase the stun loop, which is the base of my setup. And then we can talk about the damage hacks as well. I'm going to list the hacks that I used, and I'm going to explain which ones are the most important. But you can clearly see that, well, despite all of those weaknesses, we are chipping in closer and closer and closer. And my immortality is still active from the very beginning, because we have at no point stopped striking the guy. And here the final hit does crit, and that is over. So that was basically my entire strategy. And this was like this was the longest Hercules fight, I believe. But yeah, so it was super easy. Basically, I just ate 2 combos on purpose, dropped a single combo myself, and then dropped my level 2 and finished almost all of the fights. So what hacks did make that happen? Well, the first super important hack is Martial Artist. Out of all of the hacks, that's the most important for this setup, mainly because it increases your buff and debuff duration, which means it will increase your stun duration. And also you get plus 20% offensive combat power rate, which is also super useful. Also getting increase in defensive combat power rate is quite helpful when you eat those hits to the face, but it's not super important. It's not still. Anyways, martial artist was the backbone of this setup. Now, perpetual offense was nice to get some extra damage. Keep it going was nice to get some extra damage. By no means super necessary. Toxic advance was nice to get some extra damage. So from the rare hacks, the one you want for this setup, martial artist, is the most important. There is another hack that improves your buff and debuff duration, I believe by 20%. That can be helpful too, but martial artist is honestly more important. Then the next important hack is the debuff upgrade stun. And that's just another extension to your stun, making your stun on level 2 even longer, thus helping you get in more combos as you build up to your level 2s. Super important. So far we have martial artist, debuff upgrade stun, unique buff count. Again, it's nice for extra damage, but it's not super important. Buff count hack, again, nice, not super important. Special refund is quite an important one, because special refund lets you save power whenever you use special attacks, which again means you will have less power to make up to get to your next level 2. So special power is quite helpful, but the most important one here is unflinching power. Unstoppable or unblockable attacks gain plus 50% combat power rate, which is a big reason why I ate those combos at the beginning without even trying to get closer to level 2 before starting to get hit. Because of this hack and martial artist one, you have a significant increase in combat power rate, plus then extending the stun durations. You obviously do, seal off your infinite loop. So those are the 4 hacks: special refund, unflinching power, debuff upgrade stun, and martial artist. Those are the 4 hacks that can very easily, not just for Hercules, by the way, for a ton of champions, let you stun loop your opponents. But obviously with Hercules, it's even easier because you're immortal and because you can run recoil and all that other shenanigan stuff. So here we have martial artist, debuff upgrade stun, special refund, unflinching power. Again, special augmentation, attack enhancement, attack surge, debuff count, all of those just kind of increase your damage, and they can be replaced with a ton of different hacks. All of those rare boss hacks could have been something like buff corn or whatever else that could potentially let you do more damage. But the perpetual offense was obviously quite nice, even though it did seem like an overkill, because basically everything started to die in a single level 2 up until like room 20. And that is my full hack setup. So you guys saw it in action, and ultimately I did have the easiest run ever. It could have easily been revive less. The one revive that I used against Man-Thing was because my fingers kind of froze in place, and I just stood there and ate a level 2 when all I needed to do was throw another combo and everything would have been fine. Then I misread one node, which cost me a bit against Gamora in like zone 23, I think. Again, total simple player error. And then I used like 5 revives or 4 revives against final boss just because I didn't read the nodes for the final boss, and he had Tyranny on, and I couldn't gain any power, and I didn't have any villains with me, and I could have easily swapped in a champion that can solo that APOC, but I just got careless, partially because, again, this entire run was so trivial and easy, with every fight lasting like 20 seconds. And partially because I was streaming, and honestly, I was just having good fun. I got like super cocky because it was ridiculously easy. But anyways, that is my setup, and that's how it works. Again, you can do similar things without Hercules with champions like Ronan or pretty much any other champion that has 100% chance to crit. It will not work obviously exactly the same. You might not need unflinching power, but there will definitely be variations that can work using other champions that have 100% chance to stun the opponents in Incursions, it's quite easy to set yourself up with like a permanent stun loop, which worked out just fine and dandy for me. Let me know how did your runs go. I do plan on uploading kind of like an advice video in a sense, like some of the best champions or some of the best strategies, some of the best boss hacks to go with, or some of the best boss hack pairings. But obviously there are infinite amount of possibilities, and it's still quite RNG dependent, situation there. Anyways, yeah, I figured I'd share my setup because it was very fun and very stupidly easy. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about